Hey everybody, welcome back to Discover SPRINGFORD. I'm standing alongside the Schuylkill River, just outside of the former Buckwalter Stoveworks. It wasn't that long ago that we were here talking to Rick Lewis about the Lewis Group's plans to develop the riverfront. Today I'm sitting down with Joel Richardson, the owner of the brand new night spot here in Royersford, Soul Joel's Comedy Club and Lounge. I'm Geoffrey Desiato, a professional actor, part-time realtor, and transplant to the SPRINGFORD area. And I'm on a mission to find the best that SPRINGFORD has to offer. I'll be interviewing local business owners, civil servants, and other prominent members of the community to find out what makes SPRINGFORD a great place to live, work, eat, and explore. I invite you to join me on my journey as I discover SPRINGFORD. Hey everybody, welcome back to Discover SPRINGFORD. I'm here with Joel Richardson, the owner of Soul Joel's Comedy Club right here in Royersford Borough.
And it's Royersford, I found out. I mean, someone corrected me, Bill, he came to he used to come to all my shows at another location, and in my opening video, I said Ford. Yep. And he corrected me via email, and he was like, but really looking forward to opening night. And I was almost out before I was ever in.
That's right. I had the exact same thing happen because before I did the first episode, I did a video of me walking Main Street, similar to how you guys announced your opening.
Which I thought was pretty cool.
Yeah,
you know, it's
definitely.
Welcome to.
And I said Royersford, and right below the video was like, "Thanks for doing this, but you don't drive a Ford, you drive a Ford." Right. And I was like, okay. Yeah. And I felt the exact same way. So you're not alone. But
it's just the greater Philadelphia accent.
Yeah, that's right. It comes out. I mean, there's Telford. People say Telford. They don't say Telford, so it's just kind of ingrained, unfortunately. Yeah. And Haverford. Nobody says Haverford, but Royersford, because it originally was two words. I don't know if you knew that.
Oh no.
It was Royers with an apostrophe because it was the Royer family.
Okay.
And this was the Ford here, which I learned from doing an episode with the SPRINGFORD Area Historical Society.
Let's break the fourth wall.
That's right. I do it a lot. But thank you so much anyway for letting me come in. I know this is before a show night,
right.
So everything's hustling and bustling. So I appreciate you making the time for me.
Yeah, my pleasure.
So why don't we, for those of the people that haven't been following along with your launch and everything, people that might be seeing this for the very first time, tell them the story of Joel Richardson. So,
well, it's funny. Opening night here, I was taking pictures. Even though the carpet is blue, we rolled out the red carpet.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, we had pictures. But when husbands and wives came in, people didn't know the face behind Soul Joel's Comedy Club and Lounge. So a guy literally looked at me like, "Who's this guy taking a picture with my wife?" Yeah. And I was like, "I'm Joel," and he goes, "Oh," and then he jumped right in. Yeah. Right. I was like, I'm taking pictures with guys and girls, buddy. Don't worry about it. But so I originally grew up in South Jersey, the greater Philadelphia area. Sure. And then I went to college in New York, and on a wrestling scholarship. I stayed up there. You know, they always say you can make it in New York, you can make it anywhere. Both my parents are in sales. I ended up staying there. Had a couple of different jobs. Got into pharmaceutical sales. Okay. Legal. Yeah. I worked for a company. Right. I wasn't a street hustler in New York. Right. Yeah.
Thanks for the clarification.
Yeah, absolutely. My pleasure. So then I ended up going back to school to get my MBA. Okay. And at that point, I got urged by my friends to try stand-up comedy for the first time. Oh, nice. So I got filled up with liquid courage.
Often takes that, I would
imagine. Yep. On a Monday night, got 10 minutes of stage time. And believe it or not, the host that night was a producer for the Impractical Jokers on True TV. Oh, that's funny. It was years before it ever happened. And that's who it was. And it was really cool. But it was like getting that endorphins kicking in. Oh, sure. And I never wanted that to end, so I just kept doing that. A year later, I ended up having 30 friends come to a DJ promoter show in New Jersey. It was a comedy show, but he was a DJ promoter, and 6 hours before the show started, it was like 2 o'clock in the afternoon, he canceled. Oh, man. And I wasn't in charge, but I felt totally responsible. Yeah. You know, I never wanted that to happen again. A lot of the friends that I connected with on back then MySpace. Yes. shout out to Tom. Yeah.
Our first friend.
Yeah, our first friend.
Our very first social media friend. Yeah. Nobody even knew what it was. But
so I had to get in contact with all these people, and I never wanted to be in that situation. So I started. I was always the friend growing up that would organize like a bachelor party or like the reunions and all that kind of stuff, weekend getaways. Mm-hmm. So I started doing that with comedy. And kind of put my MBA to use. Nice. And so I started out, a lot of comics would joke around, I would start the Soul Joel family tour. Okay. So I started, both my parents are from Western Pennsylvania and Pittsburgh. I did shows out there, South Jersey, where I grew up. Right. And it just kind of evolved into having my own company, Soul Joel Productions. And 12 years later, I've produced shows in 21 different states.
Wow.
Over 200 shows a year with over 500 comedians that have worked for me. Yeah. So 7 different times I have tried to open up my own place.
Really?
This is the 7th.
Wow.
And it didn't work out for various reasons.
Yeah.
But Anil Dam
yeah.
had recruited me through another one of my super fans.
Okay.
And about the revitalization of Royersford, and they wanted me to open up, and then through a couple other connections, ended up meeting Rick Lewis, and now.
Yeah, here we are.
Here we are.
We're sitting at a black covered table.
Yeah.
We got things set up in the back. I know opening night and things have been going well since you guys opened.
Yeah.
And I know that people here in the Royersford community, Springford area, they're craving something like this. So you're meeting a need. I don't know if you knew that or not.
No,
but definitely the nightlife is hopefully going to begin thriving, especially heading into 2020. So.
Yeah, and people all the time don't realize this, but this, over the last 12 years, has been my business model.
Yeah.
I bring comedy to small towns and to the people, whether it's, I don't do a lot of shows in cities.
Okay.
So this is a perfect example of, I'm on the 4th floor overlooking the Schuylkill River.
Yeah.
And it's BYOB. A lot of comedy clubs in New York pay to have that brick background on stage.
True.
And we have that
we
naturally.
have it naturally,
This is a beautiful Foundry building.
Yeah.
It's unbelievable.
Yeah.
The old wood pillars, and it's a lot of fun.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
That's awesome. Tell me a little bit about what you were doing immediately before this.
So immediately before this, I was in the area. I was doing shows at the Valley Forge Casino.
Okay.
Brought over 70,000 people to there over the last
crazy.
7 years. Yeah. Before that, I was doing shows in Phoenixville.
Yeah.
At PJ Ryan's, and before that, I was at the Jeffersonville Golf Course, in Norristown.
Okay.
So I've been doing shows in this area in Montgomery County for over 10 years.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's a hike for you. I imagine to be coming. Are you still in the Jersey area?
Yeah. So my sister lives in Collegeville.
Oh, okay.
And my mom and my stepdad live in West Norton.
Okay.
So I for right now I still live in South Jersey.
Yeah, that's crazy.
It's about an hour door, but an hour as the crow flies.
That's right. Not coming through
76 is never. Yeah.
That's right.
Yeah.
I've as an actor, I've traveled. Right now, I commute an hour each way to work.
Yeah.
And I did some shows in Pittman, New Jersey,
okay.
while living in Royersford.
At the Pittman Theater.
Yeah, at the Broadway Theater Pittman.
Beautiful.
And sometimes I would have to leave almost 2 hours before I had to be there because you're coming. There's no way to get there without going through.
And when
Philly.
you do that, you get right there.
Yeah,
and
right.
then now you're an hour early.
Yeah, exactly.
But you leave an hour time. Now you're an hour late.
Yeah, that's exactly right.
That's how it's going to work out.
So you're learning the ropes here, and it's nice that you can have somebody like if it's obviously comedy, comedian hours are different, just like with performing hours. So you can crash somewhere. You have somebody close by that you can if you don't feel like making that trip back to South Jersey.
Exactly.
That's great. So tell me a little bit about some of the things that have been going on and some of the things that you hope to accomplish here.
Yeah. So one of the guys, Joey St. John, he's been helping me out for years, and now he came on full time. He's working for me.
Okay.
One of the creative things, he's a professional photographer and videographer.
Sure.
And he brings stories to life, and he's brought mine to life.
That's awesome.
So he's my brand manager.
Yeah.
So I have all these ideas, and then he takes it and tweaks it a lot. And then makes it better.
Yeah.
So what he does is he takes a minute clip from the show the night before, posts it the next day on Saturday, and he calls it Last Night at Soul Joel's.
That's cool.
So and it's very creative because what happens is it's amazing over the last 10 years of producing my own shows and having my own company that I don't have an ulcer.
Yeah, I can imagine.
Because a lot of the ticket sales, they don't happen, majority of them, until the day before and the day of.
Right.
But when he started doing this, we started picking up sales on Saturdays because people on social media, they're sitting around and they're like, oh yeah, that's right. We forgot about the show last night. And so and then we had an unbelievable response.
Wow.
Not just for the next show, but just for future shows in general.
Yeah.
And
people pull out, they got their phone, they look at their calendar, they're like, we're not doing anything this coming.
Exactly.
Whatever. Yeah, that's awesome.
And other comedy club owners actually commented and goes, oh man, that's a great idea. And it was cool for him to see that because if you're doing something right, someone's going to want to copy it.
For sure. So, yeah, I've experienced that myself. So, you start to see, because when I first started doing this show, everybody's like, oh, no one's doing anything like this. And now I've started to see little pockets creeping up, but hopefully ours is, my approach is different enough that people You know, people can copy it, but it won't be quite the same. You know what I mean?
Discover Jeff.
Yeah, that's right. I'm gonna have to. You know, one of the things I've noticed is people starts to become commercial, which is what I don't want this show to be. Right. It's just a giant commercial. I want it, and it's cool that you say that because the story, I think, is the thing that really grabs people. Right. Because they're like, they might not necessarily appreciate stand-up comedy or whatever, you know, or they don't want to do, but they connect with you and your hustle or your, you know, or your background. They're like, oh, I grew up in that same town. Yeah. I'm going to go support this guy just because of that. I have no interest in anything he's doing, but he's a local boy or whatever. Right. And it's crazy how story drives.
And that was one of the, you know, the biggest fears that I had is obviously just opening in a new location. Sure. I had never done shows here, but what I realized is so many people, like you just said, are supportive. Sure. And I've had people that like my page and share my stuff, and I've never even met them. Yeah. And it's very humble. So over the last 10 years, you know, 12 years doing shows, but having 10 years in my business, I normally, if I don't know the person, it's a friend of a friend, or you can see through Facebook. Yeah, the mutual friends and stuff like that. But then there's people that are liking my page or sharing my stuff that I don't have any affiliation. Yeah. I don't know, and no mutual friends. Yeah. And that's just, it's surreal to me. I'm like, I've been begging and like pounding on doors for 12 years. And then all of a sudden now it's like, they're coming to me. So it's unbelievable, the community camaraderie.
Sure, and I experienced that, you know, so you're kind of living exactly what I lived just like 2 years after the fact when I started Discover SPRINGFORD, because it was the same thing. I started reaching out to people about, hey, I'm going to be doing this show. It doesn't exist yet. There was nothing to show them. There was no example to show them of what it was going to be. And, you know, I would reach out to people on Facebook, but it would be like me personally. Right. So they're like, who's this? You know, and my wife and I have a joint Facebook account, so it looks all garbled and everything. Like the name is all, and they're like, and they would ignore it. Right. Joe Moskal was the first person to say, hey, that sounds cool, yeah. And then we had a national night out. They do that every year here at Royersford. Yeah. And he had his business had a table set up, and I had never met him in person. So I walk up to him, and I almost didn't, because I don't want to be like, you know, I'm not that guy that walks right up to people. But I was like, I just wanted to put a face with the name. I'm the guy that we've been Facebook messaging back and forth. He's like, yeah, man, come over, you know. And he's like, I work with Mike of the Railroad Street Bar and Grill, which is, you know, unbeknownst to me at the time, is one of the largest and most famous. You see all the RR magnets on the back of cars if you're on 422 and stuff. It's like a railroad. It's, you know, it's very widely known. They have like 10,000 followers on Facebook. So that was the first episode, was the Railroad Street Bar and Grill. Great. And I'm like, all right, well, see how it goes. And within, we had 300 likes just based on stuff I had been doing. And after the first episode aired, within 48 hours, we had 750 likes. And the episode has since gone on to be viewed like 15,000 times. Wow. Which is crazy. Yeah. And then all of a sudden, it was from there, it just blew up. And every episode, I was getting more people checking in. And it was the same thing you said. Like, people I've never met, I still haven't met them. We have over 2,500 likes on Facebook, and people are subscribing on YouTube and everything. And it's so humbling and surreal because, you know, I walk out of Giant and someone's on their phone, and they go, hey, I know you, and then they just keep walking. But they've seen my face, you know. So it's very weird. And usually I'm like in my pajamas or very, you know, not that I.
Now you leave the house, you're like,
I got to. Well, for the last 2 years I've had long hair because I grew it out for an acting role, and now I don't need to have long hair anymore. So I cut it all off. Okay. So now I feel a little bit more put together. But I was always like, I can't believe how I'm doing this show in front of a camera and I look like a slob. But oh well, it is what it is, you know. But anyway, enough about me. Tell me,
just so you know, I was enjoying that, buddy.
Oh, okay, no problem. I appreciate it. I feel like sometimes it's redundant for the viewers who watch regularly, because this is our first time having a conversation, so I feel like I need to give you some backstory. But then if they're giving backstory, yeah, right. Anyway. That's right. Unfortunately, I don't edit very much. I don't have the time. I'm just like, I got to put this together. So.
Jeff doesn't realize I was just kidding. Back to you.
That's awesome. But what do you have in mind beyond, obviously, you know, we're coming to the end of the year, heading into 2020. Yep.
So
whatever you're comfortable sharing.
No, from the beginning, that's why I called it Soul Joel's Comedy Club and Lounge. Obviously, comedy has been my bread and butter. Sure. But whether it's improv or music, that's why I've called it and Lounge, because we're going to be doing a lot of things. And this is just phase one. Sure. So for the first year to a year and a half, we're going to be, you know, in this room that we're in right now. But in a year and a half, we're going to be in the same building, but on a lower level, still overlooking the Schuylkill River. Cool. But we're going to be in a bigger space of like 300 to 350. Oh, wow. And we're going to be doing, you know, taking things to the next level.
That's awesome.
Yeah, so we can expect a lot more things. We're going to be doing, kid shows and different, magic and
that's awesome.
lot, hypnotists and a lot of different things.
So definitely, obviously there's people in the community. They may not. They're like, I don't know what I'm going to get when I go see a comedian. Is it going to be clean? Is it going to be this? Is it going to be that? Is it going to be blue? But the fact that now there's potential for reaching all demographics.
Exactly.
That's huge.
Well, and so we're going to have females, males. Each and every night, there's at least going to be 3 comics on every show. So if people don't like one comic, they'll like another.
Sure.
But I book comics that 99% people are going to like everyone.
Right.
You might go home and be like, that was my favorite. I loved her or I loved him. And they're all going to be not Seinfeld, Billboard famous, but they all have TV credits from Comedy Central, HBO, Showtime, to the Tonight Show. Yeah, that's what people don't realize that if they don't know me. Yeah. But they just know that my symbol, I've always branded Soul Joel Productions to know that people, they see that, they know they're going to get a good show.
That's awesome.
And if one comic, I never hold them back if they get like a week show or a week in a cruise or Atlantic City or Vegas calls up. I understand. They can't turn down an opportunity. Right. But I'm always going to replace them with someone that funny or funnier. Right. So it's going to be an opening night, for example, for anybody who didn't see it, I had Chris Kosha. And he's a regular on WMGK morning show with John DeBella. Yeah. He tours the country performing for our troops. So as a favor to me, he came to opening night just to, because he happened to be off. Right. So he came to drop by. But people were like, "Whoa, that's so special guest," and he killed it. He's headlining January 11th, and but people were here, and they ended up buying. I sold 30 tickets. Oh wow! Because people were like, "Well, I want to go see that," and that was my point. Yeah. To showcase some of my other talent. Sure. He's from Westchester. That's awesome. People loved him, and they wanted to now not only to come back, but they're like, I want to see more of him. Right. So that's great because they might only get 15 minutes, but then they headline and they get more of it. That's awesome. Jeff, you always want to give them wanting more. That's right. Mic drop. Wait, that guy seems interesting. Right. That's awesome. I'm always like, oh, he's done already? Yeah, oh, man. Exactly. That's what you want to feel. Not, all right, I'm worn out my welcome. I got to get out of here. Well, it's funny. And also to break the fourth wall again. Yeah. So, it's like any other job. I hire these comics to do a certain amount of time. Sure. And they have to do that time or they don't get paid. Sure. So the headliner opening night, he was supposed to do 45 minutes. He ended up doing an hour. Oh, wow. And he comes off stage, he did 20 new minutes. Wow. It was almost like but the crowd was so hot. Yeah. He was like doing all this. He can test his new material on them, everything. Yeah, exactly. And he was like, I could have literally done 2 hours. That's awesome. And people came up to me, they were taking pictures and everything, and they're like, man, that was such a good show. I thought it was going to go longer and longer, but you want that versus yawning, going to the bathroom, people leaving. Yeah. If people get up and leave, they call that walking. And it might be like babysitter or whatever it is, but sometimes it's the performer. Yeah. And you don't want that to happen. So you want them to go, I wish that show was longer, not, hey, when's this show ending? That's right. Yeah. And you don't want, if someone does get up to go to the bathroom and they hear a big laugh, they're going to be like, oh, I missed something. I got to get back to my seat. You know what I mean? Or if they're looking at their phone and they're not paying attention, then they miss something. Yeah. There's that FOMO aspect to it. So and then that's the biggest thing too. Just 2019 and you have that separation anxiety with people on their cell phones and you want just sit back, relax and enjoy the show. Yeah. It doesn't matter what. Put it in your pocket. Yeah. Nothing's going to go crazy that you can't check, in between comics or whatever. Yeah, right. It's so true. Yeah. Everybody thinks that they have like threat level midnight or something, if I don't have my phone on and I'm not looking at it, the world comes to an end or something. It's like, no, there's other people that have much more severe issues that they need to be alert, but come on. I'm pretty sure your kids are in bed and, they might wake up coughing or whatever, but it is what it is. Right. So enjoy it. You've earned this night out. Take advantage of it. Definitely, I get it. So I want to pull back the cover a little bit. Obviously, you've also been a comedian, which is what led you to do that. So do you still perform a little bit? Or? I know who I am, Jeff. Right, I make people laugh, but I'm never going to be a headliner. Okay. And I through one of my comics I used to work with, I still work with, but one of the first guys I managed, Giannis Pappas, and he kind of told me, he's like, you could be a good comic. I could make people laugh and do a 20-minute set. Sure. He goes, but you have the ability that I've never seen before to produce a show. And he goes, you produce an event and a show like I've never seen. He goes, why wouldn't you want to embrace that and be the best that ever lived? That's awesome. And so I realized that. I'm like, you know what? That's how I can make a living. And with the red carpet, taking pictures, the comics, and kind of looking at a lineup and knowing the different synergies. There's a lot of go behind that.
Yeah, right.
I'm going to put this comic with that comic and then put together a show. And so I like to go up there, and some people kind of frown upon the fact, not frown upon, but they don't understand why I host the show.
Yeah.
I go up there and I still love performing.
Sure.
I'll do 10, 15 minutes, welcome the crowd, do a little bit of improv. But it's me putting my stamp on this show.
Yeah.
Be like, these are the comics that I brought, and I'm going to make you laugh.
Got it.
Give it up for these guys. And so that's what I like doing.
That's
and,
awesome.
and I'm always here week in and week out. So I just do improv. I don't tell the same jokes over and over again. Yeah.
That's awesome. And I think self-awareness is key, to know that, yes, you may enjoy that, but can I use that thing that I enjoy and then take it to the next level by incorporating all these other skills that you have, which is the planning and the, like you had said,
organization,
like
promoting,
structuring. Like, these two comedians are great, but they don't really work together well. They don't complement each other. So I'll save this guy for this show or whatever. I feel like a lot of times people are just gonna be like, this guy's gonna bring people, this guy's gonna bring people, throw it together, and then it's just like really clunky or whatever. But like you said, that's to have, and also the self-awareness to kind of be able to be like, you know what, I'm 80% at this, but I'm 100% at that. That's really hard. I think a lot of times people, they juggle too much, and they want to be excellent at everything, which is admirable. But you need to, sometimes you need to be like, now at this point, if I start to pursue this, I'm taking away from the thing that I'm really, really good at.
And listen, to be in this business, you have to have an ego, but I don't have the ego where I try to dominate the stage. I just go, my job is just to welcome the crowd, not get them hot, just lukewarm. Just to get it, to bring it up, because then we're going to build the pyramid. The next guy's going to come bring it to this level, and the headline is going to come in and blow the roof off the place. So I just go there just to set the tone.
That's great.
That's it.
Yeah, just to get them engaged.
Just to get them engaged,
to put their phones away and all that
kind of stuff. To put their phones away,
right.
to not talk, laugh a few times. See, everybody, the headliners will make the whole audience laugh together. I just take it one table at a time.
That's great.
We'll see what happens.
Yeah. Well, Joel, I really appreciate this. This is awesome. Thank you so much for your candor, and I wish you great success, because your success is all of our success. And as I'm sure you've started to experience, people that are in this area, they're really proud of this area. They want everything that comes here to succeed, so that Royersford is back to where it was back, few decades ago.
In the apostrophe S stage.
Yeah, right. Exactly right. When it was two words, Royersford, when we had, I don't know if you knew this, that there used to be an amusement park, Lakeview Amusement Park, which is where the shopping center is now. But yeah, there used to be so much going on. So I encourage you to check out the episodes that we did with the Historical Society, because we talk about this building and the Stoveworks and everything that used to be in here. So and
really
Rick,
cool.
Rick is
Rick Lewis and his wife Megan and his entire staff have been unbelievable. I had all his ideas, but they really brought it to another level as well, making this really feel like my home. And really, when people walk in and they see it's aesthetically pleasing, it looks really cool, that was all them. I came in here and had some ideas, but my product is what's on stage.
That's awesome.
So Soul Joel's Comedy Club. .nightout.com. Like us on Facebook, Soul Joel Comedy on Instagram, and be sure to check out all Jeff's previous episodes.
Thank you very much for that plug. I love that. Synergy. That's what it's all about. So, Joel, thank you so much, man.
Thank you, brother.
I can't wait to be able to come out to a show. And once my performing schedule is not every Friday and Saturday night, hopefully, and once things start to expand, I'll be coming in.
Sounds great, brother.
Yeah, no problem. Thanks. Well, that's all the time we have for today's episode of Discover Springford. I want to thank you for watching, and I also want to thank Joel for his time today. To find out more about Soul Joel's Comedy Club and Lounge, you can click the links below the video. If you enjoy Discover Springford and the work that we're doing in the Springford community, you can support us in a number of ways. The simplest would be to share this video with your friends and family on social media. You can also support us for as little as $1 a month through our Patreon site. You can also make a one-time contribution via PayPal or purchase some of the merchandise we have available in our store. Thanks again for watching. Come back next time. But until then, get out there on your own journey to discover what makes the Springford area a great place to live, work, eat, and explore.